Good morning. Welcome to Ramblings with Joe. Woke up this morning thinking about food because we're kind of struggling with our limited diet right now. And it occurred to me again, and many people have talked about this, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit this morning. Why are we paying extra for food that doesn't have anything extra in it? So my wife and I are very big into organic food, and we really enjoy knowing that what we're getting is just the food we want. We're not getting the 15-letter words that nobody can pronounce except the scientists who came up with them. And it's a bit of an issue for us during the holidays because, well, they're centered around food, it seems like. At least when you're denying yourself the pleasures of the palatary... Not sure what that word is. Pleasures of the palate that everybody else is enjoying. It is very difficult to resist. And we didn't through the rest of this time after Thanksgiving as well. I behaved myself on my road trip. It was something that I was worried about, but it turns out it wasn't that difficult to monitor what I was eating. And I'm sure that I got quite a few more carbs than I wanted, and I'm sure I got some chemicals that I didn't want inside my dinners and breakfast. Maybe not the breakfast. The breakfast I always had what is a typical Western omelet. So other than the cheese, I doubt there was any chemicals getting through. I also doubt that the eggs were organic. But I did enjoy the breakfast and dinner while I was away. I did monitor what I was eating, and I didn't take in an unduly amount of carbs, which is my bane. It is very difficult for me. I don't understand, and I get it. The reason organic food is more expensive is because you have to get it to market quicker. You sell it quicker also. I mean, it comes on the same trucks as the rest of the food. Trust me, I know this. So I'm not exactly sure. The only thing I can think of is warehousing the food that they grow, and the chemicals allow it to. And I'll tell you this too, the chemicals that we think allow this food to last longer, I think they stretch that food out until the very end of that chemical's ability to keep the food fresh. Because the organic food we get, we had some goat milk in chai latte the night before last. And that goat milk was at least 3 weeks old. Perfectly fine. No preservatives, no added vitamin D, which your body can't absorb anyway in milk. This is incredibly counterintuitive to me. And I'm just not sure why. I don't know why it is the way it is. I'll have to look more into that. That's what I woke up thinking about, by the way. I don't know what you guys wake up thinking about, your day ahead or a cup of coffee, but when I woke up, that popped right into my mind. So when I came into the office this morning, I immediately wrote it down because it is very odd to me. You would think storing food in a warehouse would cost more than getting food from the farm to the table as fast as you can. But evidently, the labor costs involved in getting from farm to table is higher than labor cost of getting from farm to warehouse to table. That's strange to me. The second thing I want to talk about today is the Second Amendment. So during yesterday's podcast, I talked about the horrible events, the evil event that happened down in Australia, which actually overshadowed the event that happened up in Rhode Island. Neither event is good. Both events were evil, and both events were perpetrated by evil individuals. I'm not sure how I can address the Second Amendment issue in this context. No matter what I say, I'm not going to make the anti-gun crowd happy. I get that. I understand that. You don't want people to have guns. I've had guns my whole life. I started when I was, probably 10 or 11 with a .22 rifle. My father would take us to an old unused green dumpster, and we would shoot bottles or cans or whatever, set the bottles on the dumpster, shoot them, and all the glass falls into the dumpster. We did the same with the cans too. It was something that was just kind of instilled into us. I also hunted as a younger man. I hunted squirrel believe it or not. Squirrel is a very delicious dish. It's a little bit gamey, but it's very delicious. Not everybody's kick, but it was something that we did. I've hunted many things and fished. The idea that people still think that the Second Amendment is designed for hunting is beyond me. So I'll address that very quickly. Hunting is a happy secondary, the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment is to keep at bay tyranny, both domestic and abroad. That's it. It is supposed to protect the civilians from politicians who want to take over as tyrants. One of the arguments that I hear is that the side effects of the Second Amendment is the ability for bad people to get guns and do damage with them. I always bring up my occupation when that comes up because I can do a hell of a lot more damage with an 18-wheeler than I can with a gun. A hell of a lot more. The beauty of a gun is I can kill a squirrel. It's a very small target. It is something that is extremely, extremely difficult to do. Can't kill a squirrel with an 18-wheeler. Not that's edible. So the beauty of a gun is it is a very, very accurate way of killing, well, animals and unfortunately people as well. Keeping in mind that that's the idea that the forefathers had in mind with the Second Amendment. We shall keep tyranny at bay. Another thing that people like to say is you can't take on the army. You can't take on the military. They have much more advanced weapons than the state allows. The state allows the people of the country to have. It's absolutely true. I also would imagine that there's an A and a B part of this. A, the military has an oath to the Constitution, not to the leaders. So, there was a whole fiasco with the 6 Congress persons that were encouraging servicemen and women to ignore illegal orders and disobey them. Well, that's built into the system. We take classes. There are classes that every serviceman must take about the ethics of illegal orders and how to disobey them. And there may be a cost to disobey an illegal order. It may ruin your career. This is all built into the system. Hopefully it will ruin the career of the person who is giving the order that is illegal. But that's built into the system. So when tyranny rears its ugly head, and it will, the servicemen are, by their oath, required to disobey a tyrant. It's that simple. So the military, my personal belief is, will take care of itself. Has nothing to do with whether I can take on the military or not. The military will take on themselves. Yes, there are going to be some bad actors in the military that are going to try and go along with the tyrant. However, the tyrant will be overwhelmed by the amount of military people who come to recognize at that moment that they are breaking their oath to the Constitution. So the military will take care of itself. The Second Amendment was not designed to fight the military. Here's the ugly, harsh truth about the Second Amendment. The truth that nobody really wants to say. And I'm saying this not against any current or past administrations. I'm saying this about future tyrants and tyrant wannabes. The Second Amendment is designed to keep those individuals in check. Because guns are designed for specific targets, those are the people that should be worried. The tyrants of the world, the tyrants that want to take over our nation. Those are the people guns in the Second Amendment are designed to keep in check, not the military. They are not designed to take out the military. The military has its own system of checks and balances. The Second Amendment was designed, and its intent was to put the fear of God into the tyrant wannabes, because that's who that ammo is designed to take out. And as I said, not any current, past administrations, but the tyrant wannabes. I don't know how else to put that. I don't know how else to be as blunt as I can about that. So every time one of these goofy politicians come out and say we need more gun control. The amount of gun laws that we have on the books right now is overwhelming. We don't need more gun laws. We need more enforcement of the laws that are on the book. And I'm not just talking about gun laws. I'm talking about laws in general and not selective enforcement. One of the people on one of the people on YouTube decided to pull up the numbers of how come the countries that have more gun ownership have a higher violence of gun deaths. I think if you look throughout all of the statistics, you'll also find that the countries that have higher ownership of cars have higher car deaths. This is a false dichotomy. This is not something that people who are spitting these statistics out fully understand. Number one, there are no statistics for prevention of crime through the use of firearms, because the biggest statistic is a deterrent, and those are for the most part not reported. They are, and this range is exemplary of why they're not reported. It is estimated that between 4,000 and 500,000 criminal acts are prevented every year because of gun ownership. That's a huge range. And it's because it's not reported, and it's damn hard to keep track of. You can keep pulling up all of these statistics that are one-sided. You can keep claiming all of these things. Now look, there's a popular podcaster, Steven Crowder. I think his name's Steven or Steve. I don't know. Anyway, he keeps claiming 94% of crimes are done in gun-free zones. I'm not sure that that is a accurate number. Everything that I looked up keeps coming up around 50%. And then I would look a little deeper and I'd say, okay, so if that's the case, let's see how many criminal mass shootings happen where there's a plethora of guns. And that answer is almost zero. So although gun-free zones is kind of an official way to describe a place that doesn't want guns within their establishments or guns at their event or guns within their state or city or county, whatever. A gun-free zone like that, although they're not an official place, they are a description. The real test of this, in my opinion, is how many places that have signs on their doors that say Second Amendment supporter, open carry here. How many of those places are? And there's no stats because it doesn't happen. It's near zero. When a bad guy comes with a gun, you call a good guy with a gun to come and stop him. That's it. Bottom line. I want more good guys to have guns. I want more good guys to have on their person a way to defend the good people around him from the bad guys. I'm seeing my regular customers again. And my 2 weeks has really been closer to, couple months, 2 or 3 months, because I was also training a driver locally, and that kind of kept me off my route, except for occasionally. Now I'm back, and my customers are very happy to see me. A really incredible time I'm having right now at this point in my career, because I really appreciate the route that I have. I really like the seeing my regular customers. And I also enjoy seeing the new customers that I don't see all the time, that, I'm delivering things to, that is just an occasional thing, or even just a one-off, one-time thing. And my regular customers are all very happy to see me. And that makes me feel good, because that means I'm doing my job, which is not delivering items. It is customer service, as is almost everybody's job in any field, from doctor to lawyer to janitor to ditch digger. It's customer service. We're all trying to serve each other. Sometimes we're serving each other a product, but we're still customer service is what we're all doing. And when my customers tell me they're so glad that I'm back, it kind of reflects that I'm doing my job in a good manner, and I'm happy about that. So I'm very, very tickled with that. When you see a customer that you haven't seen in a couple months, and he comes over and he shakes your hand and tells you he's glad to see you, That's happened yesterday. That's very nice. It's very attitude affirming is the only words that come to mind. And I appreciate it. It means I'm doing my job well. And it also means, number 4, back to the grind, which my wife told me I kind of was not. If you watch the podcast with myself and her, she called me out. She said, you were kind of had a bad attitude, not up front, but kind of in the background, run down. I don't remember the exact words she used, but I'm trying to change that because I really do like my job. I really do enjoy being around the people that I'm around. The people at the terminal that I work out of, awesome people. The people that don't like me, they're pretty decent people. They just don't like me. I'm okay with that. So it's a pretty good job, and I'm really enjoying this part of my life. I've had better paying jobs. I've had jobs with better benefits, but I've not had a job where the people are as good as they are to me here. It's good, not just to me. The people are good to everybody. And I'm very proud of where I work. I'm not going to mention it on the podcast because I don't want anybody to think that these opinions or anything I put out is coming from my job. It is not. This is all from me. But I do love my job. It is awesome. It's enjoyable. If you're miserable in your work, if you're making $150,000 a year and you're absolutely miserable in your work, what are you doing? Why would you stay someplace that makes you miserable? This is akin to going to a restaurant and the food is awful, but it's cheap. So you keep going back to the restaurant over and over and over again until you're just absolutely hate it. If everything's based around money, well, you're not really living life. You're just trying to make as much money as you can. You're doing some kind of weird scorecard thing. When I go to work and I see these people and they smile and they, it's kind of my work environment, so they don't actually embrace me. Quite a few of them shook my hand when I got back, but when I see these people, and we got a couple guys that are grumpy, and I attribute that to them not being morning people or maybe just, personality clash with me. I'm good with that. I can't have everybody like me. You got to have yin for the yang. These people go out and they do their job on the daily, and most of them do it with a smile on their face. And I'm proud of my company. We're doing a hell of a good job, and the culture that I work within is incredible. I'm not miserable. I'm a happy camper. I'm a content camper. My wife tells me I can't be happy all the time. Sometimes I think I can, but I can't. But I am. I'm a happy guy. I'm very content at work. So today I'm going back to work and I'm going to do that job again. And now number 5. That's right. We have 5 topics. Number 5 is toys that we used to have. And I can remember Kerplunk. I'm sure some of you are laughing now because this old man's talking about Kerplunk. Well, we were shopping and I was having a pretty good time. I love being with the wife, and this is kind of a getting back together thing. And we're shopping and we're having a pretty good time. And of course we're shopping for the grandkids and the kids. And well, we get to this classic toy section. And the classic toy section has a lot of the toys that I used to play. They did not have Kerplunk. I probably would have grabbed Kerplunk had I seen it. But they have all the toys that we used to, Life and Risk and all the games and stuff we used to play. We have a couple grandkids coming down for Christmas Day. We're going to meet in a central location at my brother's house, and I couldn't resist. I just could not resist. So this is one of the toys that we used to play as a kid, and that not a sponsor or anything. I don't even know who makes this thing. What I do know is that it is a blast, and it's an activity more than a game. It's something you can do with kids. And I know when I set this up and I get down on the floor, which I am loath to do, I am not a floor person. I cannot stand laying on the floor. I don't like yoga. But when I get down on the floor, I'm pretty sure there's going to be more than just me and the grandkids on the floor playing this game. I'm pretty sure my brother's going to see it and say, oh, I'm in. Because I have very fond memories of playing this game with all my siblings. For the most part, who were all older than me and were just putting up with the silly game, keeping me occupied and not, being the rambunctious kid I was. So we're going to do that. And I think the reason I love those games is because of the time I spent with my family playing them. Life and what was it? Mousetrap. That was another one. And Kerplunk, of course. Kerplunk was always my favorite. It was the simplest, like Break the Ice. Don't break the ice. It was the simplest of games. And I absolutely loved it as a child because from a young age, you're able to play these games. And I know they help your motor skills. They do all this. No, what they do is they get you to sit down with the family and interact. And I'm hoping that what this does is it gets us to sit down with the family, put aside our electronics, and make fun of each other and have a good time. That's what I hope. Well, this extended podcast has been brought to you by a very good cup of coffee, which I'm going to go downstairs and I'm going to finish up the pot. I have a half a pot of coffee this morning because I got 6 hours sleep, and that's just not quite enough. But I'm gonna go and do my best today. I hope that you go home I hope you go to work or home, wherever you're going, wherever you're going to be. I hope that you do your best. I hope you find peace, love, and dream. Until next time, ciao.